Take a look at this story that's also rather depressing. House Democrats tout bill to add 4 seats to the Supreme Court.
Oh, boy.
This is them just saying, we can't win politically.
Yeah.
We can't win your votes. Nuke the system and give us the power.
Jeez.
And if they actually try to overturn or bypass the filibuster to stack 4 more seats and give Joe Biden 4 appointees, man, this country just implodes. What do you think? Like, what do you guys think will happen if, let's say, in the next session or whatever, they say we're doing away with the filibuster, we're pushing this bill through, it gets pushed through, and then Joe Biden goes 1, 2, 3, 4 new Supreme Court justices? What do you think the reaction would be?
Yeah, well, this is theatrics, because Manchin and Sinema already said they would not tank the filibuster. They don't have the votes for it, and Manchin and Sinema both came out and said they wouldn't allow court packing. So they know they don't have the votes in the Senate. The House doesn't have any jurisdiction in this area, right? Only the Senate approves or confirms justices. So this is desperate for November to say, hey, vote for me because I proposed a bill to add 4 justices to the Supreme Court. This is all theatrics. It's terrible. The scenario that you're painting is bad, and we shouldn't be playing these games. It reminds me of like playing with your. Do you have a lot of brothers? I was the youngest of a whole bunch. It reminds me of playing with your brothers as a kid, and when you're the baby, and you keep changing the rules because it's like not fair. You can only throw red ones, and you have to close your eyes. And it's like by the end, the rules are so stupid, but it's basically because you're a loser and you don't want to lose. You want to prolong the game, and that's what they're doing. They just keep changing the rules to prolong the game.
I suppose it's fair to say, obviously, it'll never happen. You know?
Yeah.
But we didn't think Roe v. Wade was going to get overturned either. And that's...
Well, some people did.
Yeah, but most people didn't.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg was one. She thought it would be overturned eventually.
There were a lot of conservatives that were like, there's no way they'll do it.
Yeah.
They won't do it. They didn't. Some people thought it was going to happen, but most people didn't. I mean, maybe we had conversations, but I thought the attitude most people had was like, man, I don't know. I don't think they'll have spine for it. Roberts will be opposed to it. And then it happened, and I didn't think it was going to happen. But I will say, at the very least, the bare minimum is we're at the point where Democrats are just basically saying, torch the system and give us the power, regardless of if they're able to get it or not. And so if we keep moving in this direction, it's only a matter of time before it spills over. And then there's I mean, I got to be honest, I already think we're in the territory of, it's just about seizing power regardless of what matters for the American people.
Yeah. And what's frustrating about this is that Roe is a clearly very dramatic decision. It's got a lot of impact. I'm not at all making light of it. But there have been a lot of Supreme Court cases which have way more impact on the average American without them realizing it, that were decided poorly. Kelo versus New London is the one that always comes to my mind, which was about eminent domain, right? And the right for the government to seize your property for the promise of additional taxes. That if you go to Times Square in New York right now, you'll see all these signs because the governor of the state and the mayor want to take over about 300 businesses around Penn Station because they want to build a new 15 building complex. And they're like, well, this is my little pizzeria. And it's like, well, we're going to take it because of eminent domain. And they legally have the right because of Kelo versus New London. It happens all the time. Eminent domain is how government seizes your property because Tim wants to build a condo there, and the condo will generate more taxes than your little farm.
That's crazy. That's a
terrible decision. So my point is that the courts have made terrible decisions in the past. Dred Scott was one of the terrible decisions. Korematsu was one of the terrible decisions. But we've never responded with, well, therefore we have to blow up the courts. So it shows you not just the pettiness of the left right now, but it shows you the real ignorance of them. Right? Politics is a slug match, and sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, and the system prevails for 246 years. But the fact that they're like, well, now we don't want to play the game anymore.
It's cultural decay.
It really is.
And how do you repair that? How do you I don't know if you can.
Take back control of the money system. That's a good start. Like you said at the beginning of the show, 40% of people think the economy is the biggest problem, whereas 1% thinks it's abortion. 0%. What was the other one we were talking about?
Climate change.
0% thinks it's climate change.
0%. Yeah. But how many people are going to try and nuke the system for the economy?
Well, I don't want to nuke it. I just want to fix it.
No. I'm not saying you do. I'm saying there are people who are looking at abortion at maybe 1%, but those are people who are willing to throw firebombs.
They're radicals,
Don't put power in the hands of radicals right now. Well, there might be a time and a place for it, but not over abortion.
That's what's happening.
We need to get focused on the economy.
AOC, 13 million followers, and she's growing, and she's with that fake handcuff thing.
Yep.
It's clearly she's just trying to manipulate people for power. She pretended to be handcuffed.
Yeah.
Photo op.
Thinks like if she can get enough people behind her, believing in her, then she can do the right thing.
Right thing?
Yeah, like
when has she done the right thing?
Subversion to get people on my side, and then I'll do the right thing.
The one thing I've agreed on her with was when she said police maybe open the doors from the inside.
Yeah.
But she's only saying that because it personally impacts her.
Yeah.
I'm saying because I care about what happens to the rest to this country, what happens to the people.
She wants to legalize psilocybin and MDMA for study, and that's probably because she likes it.
It's the whole premise of that great show Ozark. Spoiler alert, I apologize, but the whole thing is like we're going to do all these evil things because ultimately we'll do good with it. Right, and we just do evil thing after evil thing. But like one day, or it's the premise of The Godfather, right? One day we'll be legitimate. So in the meantime, I'm going to kill all of these people. But in the end, and I think that's sometimes how they think. They'll ultimately, when I have everything I need, all the power, all the wealth, I will do good. But to get there, I'm just going to have to kill several people, or I'm going to have to do fake photo shoots or bomb the system.
She does it we talk about her fake photo shoots, and people just believe it. Yeah, they just keep believing it. She keeps doing it. They keep believing it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
The funny thing is that members of the House, besides the Speaker, I mean, they're really not very significant. No offense to them, but like anyone who's worked in D.C. in the like one member of Congress, and they're not supposed to be, right? They're not supposed to be powerful. That's the problem. Heck, you began the broadcast by saying, 2024. It's a long ways away, and we're already talking about it. We're already talking about it because everyone knows how damn powerful the president is. That's where I disagree with you on Roe. I don't want power in D.C. I want power in the states. I want way more influence of my governor and my mayor because I can have impact on them. Heck, I could run into the mayor of this town walking down the street. But you're never going to run into the member of Congress. It's actually kind of a joke, right? And you're never going to run into the president. We shouldn't want these powerful. AOC shouldn't be powerful. And the fact that she's like, but I want power to do good. Whoa, that's exactly what the founders.
To do good. Come on.
Well, in her mind, good.
No, I don't think so. I don't think she's.
You think she just wants power?
Yeah, I don't think she thinks to herself like, I'm a good guy at all. I don't think she thinks that much.
Possible.
I think she's just like more followers.
Well, she is the prime example of using the ends to justify the means. And I think based on her photo ops, we can really see, and based on the amount of power that she has, like she's a super social justice political figure, and she's not using that power for good. Like she had a small amount of power and she's not doing good with it. I see no reason to believe that if she was given a greater deal of power that she would do anything different with it. I don't know, though. I guess she could change her tune, but I have yet to see people really make introspective changes like that on this big of a platform.
Well, if I was Kirsten Gillibrand, who's the senator from New York, which is the next high, powerful position, I would be very much afraid. Remember, she ran for president in 2016. Remember, she had the Pride T-shirt, and there's that meme. Exactly, there's the meme of her pretending that she's really big on these issues. She got crushed in the primary, but she's done nothing since. It's been 6 years. I mean, she's a non-entity in the Senate, and if you're Kirsten Gillibrand, you should be petrified to think AOC does have 14 million followers, and we're talking about her. And did you ever hear Kirsten Gillibrand's name even before?
No.
You've heard of AOC,
yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, she's going to keep climbing, but I just hope she climbs only within that hellhole I used to call home, which is New York.
Well,
no offense, New York, I still love you.
I think Colbert asked her if she was going to run for president.
Is she old enough to run for president?
She will be.
She will be.
She will be.
Got to be 35.
So she could run because by the time the election, like a month before the election, she would be 35. So she could be campaigning all day and night.
I think what would happen, and maybe someone will tell her that politely, is she would have huge momentum. But ultimately, in the presidential, you got to start talking, and she would embarrass herself because she's really not very smart.
I think she should do it.
She will. I think maybe someone, her advisors will tell her flame will go out so poorly. It's like Kirsten Gillibrand or like Kamala. Although Kamala Harris became the vice president, her own state didn't vote for her because she was so bad in the debate.
Yeah.
Right. So you can run for president, but you will expose yourself.
When people critically ask themselves, like, who's qualified to be president of the United States, it's not going to be a bartender. Like, I appreciate the work that bartenders do. I really do. But when moms and dads are going to the ballot box and saying, who do I trust? Do I trust an accountant or do I trust a bartender to run this country? They're going to pick the accountant.
Yep.
I think you're right.
Yeah, or someone who at least has a deep understanding of the country and a deep appreciation of it. And the thing I dislike about her, which I dislike about the modern left right now as a whole, is they have genuine disdain for this country. You know, they don't like the country. They think the country is racist, sexist, whatever. They don't celebrate. They don't have red, white, and blue, right? Like that
Sour
New Yorker
Patch Kids.
article.
Yeah,
they
Sour
don't.
Patch Kids.
They don't celebrate what America is. They think America needs to be deeply transformed.
You know what I love? I love that they hate this country. It's racist, white supremacist, evil, fascist, homophobic, but they desperately want more people to suffer along with them coming across the southern border. The left's motto: misery loves company. We hate this place, so you should come here. Is that it?
You're so right about them hating the country, though. In Canada, it's the same thing. If you see someone flying a Canadian flag, you know they're a conservative.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
Same
is like,
here.
what? Like here, I don't know if it's the same. Is it?
It is. It's
Wow.
exactly
Just
the same.
if you fly an American flag, you're
Right. It's the same in the UK as well. It seems like everywhere
Yes.
throughout the West, there's
Yeah.
this mindset that, oh, we hate this because we've never known anything else. We've never actually known suffering or struggle. We've never lived in Russia. We've never lived in, any of these small countries that are really fighting, like Myanmar. Like, we haven't seen it, and we're just like, it's gross.
Well, it's still MAGA month, so
That's true. That's true.
gotta have that American flag as your profile picture.
It is. That's why it was so funny to see Prince Harry today at the
please.
UN.
LARP as an American.
Yeah, exactly. Talking about how we've sacrificed our
Wishes.
democracy's under threat, and you want to say 6 greats, great grandfather, caused all this to begin with, right? If he weren't a bad guy, we probably would still be part
not
of
his
you.
fault.
So it's direct line to your 6-back great grandfather that we're here to begin with. So just shut up, Harry.
Honestly.
You know, I mean, quite
Well,
frankly,
shut up, Megan. That's not Harry.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like I don't like crapping on these people, Prince Harry, AOC, because I feel like they're massively influential and powerful, and if we don't work with them, the entire system's going to get smeared.
Is he powerful, though? I looked at a picture of the United Nations when Harry was talking, and it was empty. I don't think people actually think that this guy's an intelligent, thoughtful person. I think they think he's someone that goes on Oprah and can get clicks, but when serious people need to listen, they don't.
Yeah, he's just he's like he walked away from the royal family, so he's an example of like freedom over power kind of person.
I don't know if he's a freedom over power person because he still seems to. Let me fix my camera a little bit. We're getting Daniel's hat. There you go. He still seems to really want a lot of that power that he willingly gave up by leaving the royal family. And his wife was an actress in America, so I feel like they were trying to be like Princess Diana or something. I think that's what was going on there. Very weird.
I
don't like
think
it.
I think Ian is a plant to try and reconnect
He's a
us to the
plant.
crown and subvert
knew it.
the revolution.
I think this is.
I want Canada off the British monarch's
Oh,
teat.
yeah.
Let's
Keean,
do it. How do
what do
we
you think?
start?
I think this is the
I'm
bigness
actually
of your
a fan
heart.
of the monarchy.
Oh my gosh.
I think that if we just drop tradition, I mean, I respect your guys' decisions as freedom-loving Americans to leave. I get it, but part of me, if you don't value that tradition, and like the Queen back then when you guys left, there was a reason why you did it, but now the Queen doesn't have any strong political power, especially not the Governor General that's the head of state of Canada. So just getting rid of it is just playing into the leftists' hands, who want to destroy everything that attaches us to our past.
I don't know if I agree she has no power. I mean, she just doesn't use it.
Perhaps.
And so you might just think she's not using it as well. She might be on the phone call with Trudeau and she'll be like, do it. And he goes, yes, ma'am.
There's something in that
You
red box
could be
that she
right.
gets every day, right? She's looking at something. So
Well, I mean, think about it. The UK was facing an uprising. I remember, was it like 1800s or whatever? So they created the House of Commons. I'm not big on British history. And so, like, if you're a monarch and you're an absolute ruler and people are screaming off with their head, what's the smart way to deal with it? You say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to tell them we're going to give them power and share it and be democratic and in Parliament and all that stuff and create the House of Commons. And y'all will just do as you're told or we'll kill you. And then what happens is the people are like, yay, we won. And the Queen just keeps her mouth shut as she rules from the shadows.
The House of Commons was 1341.
All right, I was wrong about that.
I think that was King John. Now I could be wrong about that, but
And maybe it was the
was that
1300s.
when Richard
No, it
was
was after King John.
Yeah. that was
after King John.
But King John signed the Magna Carta, which was
1215.
basically saying,
Yeah.
the king has to have some rules.
Yeah.
And then every monarch from King John down has ceded an amount of power one way or another, from either letting Parliament exist to not fighting a war against his own Parliament, and then you get to where it is now. But I'm not saying that you're wrong.
What if the conspiracy is the Queen is secretly the Queen?
There's a lot of active investigations into what sort of power she exerts over the British Parliament. I don't think that really extends much to Canada at the time, but a lot of her influence. She doesn't ever not sign a bill that's put on her desk, but her staff are routinely reaching out to government as bills are being put forward and offering their advice, and their advice is often
Like Canada?
No, the British Parliament.
Yeah.
They're much more interested in that. I don't think she gives Canada much of a thought.
I bet she does.
I'm sure
I bet
she does
deep
all
down,
of them.
the Queen is the Queen.
It's British Columbia.
Dun, dun.
Like the idea is like we know she's a queen,
Indeed.
but we just don't think she does anything. And it's like, but like, why do you really think that? Like, it's not that far fetched to think the Queen actually just makes a phone call and says, "Hey, we're doing this. You should do this too." And they say, "Okay."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's Her Majesty's prisons. It's Her Majesty's armed forces.
Right.
Ships.
It's
yeah.
hers.
Yeah.
It's all hers.
Which is pretty cool. I mean, I'm glad we don't have her. Don't get me wrong. I think she's a lovely woman from a distance.
Yeah.
But what happens
all the
after she's
Commonwealth
gone,
countries
right?
are woke.
Yeah.
I really think she's great. I think she's done a great job over the course of 70 years or whatever it's been. But I'm really fearful what comes after her. What happens with Prince Charles? What happens? I like Prince William a little bit more than Prince Charles, but Prince Charles is like right up there with the rest of the World Economic Forum. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to get into that.
I often tweet photos of Charles's many properties and the ones he will inherit, because also he cares deeply about the climate issue.
Oh, sure
Oh,
does.
And it's wonderful to care about climate change from like your 30,000 acre estate with servants, and he's like, "Oh, this whole garden is organic." It's like, yes,
Well,
you're
let's-
400
I don't get how
servants.
we're
Let's
talking
talk
about
about
Prince
Meghan.
Charles,
Let's-
we're talking about Prince Charles inheriting the empire of Britain as if it's okay. It's not okay for a person to own that.
I've spoken like a true
You
American.
sound like a traitor.
Let's talk about. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Come hang out live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Super chat. We'll even answer some of your questions. If you want to check out the After Hours Censored Show, go to timcast.com and become a member. We put those up Monday through Thursday at 11 p.m. They're very funny, not very family friendly. We'll love to see you there. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.